The Final Destination movies are cautionary tales. Friday the 13th taught us to never go camping. A Nightmare on Elm Street said to never fall asleep. These movies tell us to never survive tragedies or do anything ever. This story of noble Alex having visions which save some of his classmates from dying in a plane crash, only death is as ruthless as the Terminator, as it'll use all tools necessary in the house to finish the job, may be the best board game adaptation ever made, but it also began life as a script for a potential episode of The X-Files from writer Jeffrey Reddick, inspired by a story he read of a woman who had a vision that she shouldn't get on a plane which later crashed, and also by the 1984 movie Soul Survivor, until New Line Pictures thought it'd work best as a feature film, and how we'll make this a slasher series with an invisible force that'll save us on the mask budget. On board for director was James Wong, as he and Glenn Morgan contributed to the script too, and both were writers on The X-Files, plus cinematographer Robert McLaughlin later worked on Black Christmas '06, which Glenn Morgan directed, and composer Shirley Walker would score that film too. All of them had one goal in mind: do for planes what Jaws did for the water. Joke's on you, my fear of flying started with the Concorde Airport 79. But don't worry, I'm sure Final Destination will make me shit my pants too. As the movie begins by fooling you into thinking it's the Bruckheimer logo, there's already lots of things here that could kill you, whether it's Psycho Kong accidentally ripping your face off by doing a cool Darth Vader voice in the fan, or death by embarrassing passport photo. Better pack everything important. No, you forgot something. You'll wish you had Death of a Salesman for light airplane reading. What in the world class is he taking? It's gotta be the same Vatican class we stumbled into in The Devil Inside. And the previous owner of the book was driven mad trying to get to the end of this required reading. I'm already a big fan of Devon Sawa's Alex character. He's a teen who admires the works of John Waters. It's okay if I talk over the plot. Dad will sum everything up.
So, 17, on the loose, senior trip with your friends in Paris, 10 days in the springtime.
Exposition Dad is this close to going on a faith-based rant.
No, I'm missing all the fun.
No, you're missing all the sin.
They haven't even stepped foot on the plane, and Death is already out for this kid. Clearly, Death is more of a Pink Flamingos fan than Pecker. And it's messing with his alarm. 180 will pop up a lot in this, as one of the working titles was Flight 180. Lame. Stick with Sawas on a plane. The number 180 will also be an ongoing trademark of the franchise too. Plus, in the original script, they were all complete strangers who survived the crash. But if we're gonna do a horror film in this time period, we want to see some teens get blown up but good. As much as the filmmakers tried distancing it from being called the slasher, they need to hurry up too. The cast are already featured on TV series at the time, like Dawson's Creek, which made the shooting schedule a little long, possibly why Sawa actually did fall asleep in the earlier shot. Everything seems a little off at this airport, especially the small talk.
Same as your birthday.
What?
September 25, 9:25. Your birthday is the same as your departure time.
Are you flirting with me? Folks, what are you doing? Save the wacky sex romp for when you get to Paris. You watched Euro Trip in class when the teacher was hungover. It does a good job of making the plane look as scary as a shark. That's a whole lot of nope! And it still throws in a sense of humor, like when they take a shit beforehand so they don't stink when flirting with the girls.
Do you want them to associate you with that watery sting in their eye, that reflexive gag at the back of their throat?
But I heard they're into poop stuff. The camera makes everything look a little off, subtly implying that it's a doomed flight, from changing a lot of the perspectives instead of just square shots, and later on washing out some of the colors too when death is approaching. Let me just say that as someone who does have a tremendous fear of flying and have never flown sober in the past 20 years, this works. I know the feeling of watching everyone act perfectly fine while my complimentary drink is my own freaking sweat. It's easy knowing who will get off the plane. There's Sean William Scott. He's the comedy relief. We've got to rescue him. Good God, just watching the normal mechanics of the plane still makes it feel like the opening photography scene from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Watching this is actually hard to take notes on because I'm also grasping the handle of my armchair. The sequels would get more over the top in their opening disaster scenes, but for me personally, this was the most effective. I guess it all depends on which of these movies is the closest to your actual fears. Nope. I knew I should have taken the bus across the ocean to France. Guys, you're over water. You'll be fine. And at least his copy of Death of a Salesman is safe.
Alex?
Yep, it's about that time he asked the flight attendant to speed up the drink cart. I'm not saying that I would have joined Alex in getting off the plane, because I wouldn't have been on this thing to begin with. Look at it! That plane is gonna eat me! They're not looking at the bright side of the situation. With everyone else in class gone, that means you can have some wacky shenanigans of your own, holdovers style. Plus, I can get on my phone to triple check that that's not Carla Gugino playing Mrs. Luton. It's okay, Paris is overrated anyway. Have you seen Bon Voyage, Charlie Brown? Something was gonna catch fire there too. And they're only on a soundstage, and that's a model plane, and no one's gonna die.
You fucking brat! Oh shit!
And this has been What If It Exploded, hosted by me, Lloyd.
Oh my god, not only did they not survive landing in the water, but now frickin' C student Carter is the valedictorian. Is it too soon for an I told you so? Honestly, I think they only survived because, like a lot of other characters, they have the same last names as other directors and horror movie stars, like Alex Browning being named after Todd Browning of Freaks, or Detective Siegel named after Don Siegel, and Daniel Roebuck, he was just sent there by Sam Gerard. Sometimes it gets carried away with the names.
I'm Agent Ween, this is Agent Shrek.
Take your pick. This Max Shrek, that Max Shrek, or this Shrek. I understand why they'd want to question him, but it's doubtful that he blew up the plane.
If that's the case, Alex, then why did you really get off the plane?
Because I was promised first class. I love that no matter how huge the tragedy or how intense the questioning, the hat stays on. Some of the inspiration also comes from the TWA Flight 800 disaster of 1996, as they used real footage from that, but I'm more distracted by you fell asleep watching this like it's a date movie. Mom, Dad, can we please watch something more uplifting, like Fearless? Death isn't wasting any time stalking his ass. I guess that manhole cover was also supposed to be on the plane. The dead students would have loved this memorial, though they would have asked that the statue not be something with wings on it. Seriously, maybe it should be a giant asshole, since that's what most of the students are.
I hope you don't think, Browning, because my name ain't up on this wall, that I owe you anything.
You kinda do, bro. Here's where it gets into some silliness, like the other characters still hating Alex's guts, and even the teacher wanting nothing to do with him. Dude saved your lives! I'd be standing this guy for eternity. Billy has the right idea. Take advantage of Alex's psychic abilities.
I asked how Cynthia passed her. Will she say no?
And please tell me Finch isn't banging my mom. At least one person thanks this man.
Because of you, I'm still alive.
Let me stop you there. The editors are gonna cut our love scene. While it is the death scenes that I remember the most from these, it's nice going back and remembering that it is a well-shot film. Get in the good cinematography before embarrassing toilet deaths, or when they find your porn collection. The hell kind of things are you into? Get yourself a good God-fearing penthouse like Alex. That's better than the papers. What? Why didn't the article use a picture of me? I'm the hero here. I'm a shoo-in for college. I said college. I have no interest in Hogwarts right now. Poor Todd's gotta be the first one to go. Death was not a fan of his eulogy. Could have used more heart and hanging. Lord almighty, these death scenes make it clear the director would later write an episode of 911. Speaking of...
And now it's time for Lloyd's Out of Context 911 Lone Star Clip of the Week.
Well, you'll all be hearing from the chief. Enjoy your suspension.
So, what are your guys' new career paths gonna be once Paragon owns our souls?
On second thought, I'll also take the bus.
We're back, and Death is a considerate force in this one. He cleans up his crime scene. We don't want anyone who wasn't on the plane slipping. Even after Todd's death, they're still pissed at him for saving lives.
You caused Todd so much guilt over George staying on the plane, he took his own life.
Will everyone get off my ass?
You son of a bitch. If you would let him die on the plane, we could have won a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. But anyway, as Clear works on being a Steel Town girl on a Saturday night, she's the artistic one in the group. She does all of her sculptures based on her love for the PBS logo. Forget doing any kind of crime solving. They know that they're in a horror movie. Go right to the source. The mysterious character who will know all the answers.
Please, you'll wake the dead.
Yes, Tony Todd is here with sinister lines. Obviously, he'll tell us what's going on. We're glad you're here. We're gonna wake up Lynn Shay and ask if she'd tell us anything. Make sure you talk, like any minute now, bees are gonna come from your mouth.
In death, there are no accidents, no coincidences, no mishaps.
That's a guy who always has the moody blues playing in the workroom. It's theorized that Tony Todd is playing the physical embodiment of death, but the creators say that that's not the case. But him being death makes the most sense. Otherwise, why does he know all the rules? Why is he so weird? Why does he say, "I'll see you soon"? It can't just be because he works in a morgue. His freaking name is Bloodworth.
And you don't even want to fuck with that Mac Daddy.
And I just really want Death to say words like Mac Daddy. Alex is getting to be an expert on death omens too. If the camera whirls around and there's a reflection, there's gonna be a brilliant shock to the audience coming up, not to mention the music. Ooh, that's the title. Someone's gonna die. Can't kill Billy yet. We still need the laughs. Can't kill Carter either. We still need the asshole of the movie to stick around. And he's gotta grow into the asshole deputy for My Bloody Valentine 3D. Sorry, that just leaves the hot girlfriend. My God, I wouldn't trade seeing this moment in theaters for the world.
You can just drop fucking dead.
The collective holy shit from the audience was so loud that I completely understand why after test screenings they needed a longer shot of the Alka-Seltzer to give the audience enough time to settle down. This was well before carelessly walking into the street and then being hit by something was an overused cliche, so it was insanely effective. Especially when you watch it at home and can freeze frame it. This poor kid is getting traumatized by the second. He has no time for Dad announcing he's been inducted into the Robert Urich Lookalike Club. Cause the nightly news has discovered the cause of the explosion and more importantly shown the seating arrangement where we find that Death is a geek for numbers and order. Death's very OCD in this. They all must die in the order they were supposed to die in on the plane. Because if they don't, we'll ask Professor Morgue again. What if it's not even death? What if it's some creepy-ass Annabelle doll situation? Why does she have that? And for the love of God, the man saved you once, let him do it again.
Hi, this is Valerie Luton. I need Agent Shrek.
He's out for the moment. Perhaps Agent Lugosi could help. You damn fool. Death wasn't gonna let the air out of her tires. Highway accidents are the second film. Death has something more simple in mind here. Could be due to the seating pattern on the plane. Could be when they play music from artists who died in plane crashes. But here's where the series really starts playing the what's it gonna be game. Will it be the hot water? The gas stove? Wait, I know what it's gonna be. A sad waste of alcohol, and these old computers being a fire hazard regardless of vodka dripping inside of it. Quick, remember everything you learned from playing the Dr. Classic Life and Death on that computer. Never mind, she may not come back after that. Alex arrived just in time for the police to suspect him even further. Also Candyman's doing. Here, though, he still has the comic reliefs he can rely on.
Hey, Alex.
Oh man, I did my homework for Miss Luton's class for nothing? This is a horror series where it really doesn't matter if they split up or stay together. It's not like the killer's hiding out somewhere. Well, except maybe in the teapots. And giving these two some alone time since they were supposed to hook up.
You think they're still up there? Somehow? Flight 180, are they still in flight? Somewhere? Are they safe?
Ugh, figures you'd be into trauma poetry. Billy is more my speed. The more trauma happens, the more you fine-tune your jokes.
Tell me I'm gonna get to see the Jets win a Super Bowl. I knew I should have felt up Tammy in the pool that time.
Billy is the Tom of his school. I like this theory they're testing. If Carter isn't the next one to die, does that mean he's now invincible? He's been waiting his whole life to do every single Burt Reynolds driving stunt in 5 minutes. Why are they freaking out? A train accident is exactly how you know if you have unbreakable powers. Other cliches that it does well too are, yeah, figures, car won't start. But here it makes sense that that would happen on top of the continued surprising deaths.
You're dead! And you ain't taking me with you!
He does not have unbreakable powers. But they'll be enjoying his jokes in heaven. Oh man, why did I spend so much money on a facial? Let's take a break while they mourn Billy's death. Actually, they seem fine.
How many made it?
Just you, I'm afraid.
Something beyond life is watching her. Sole survivor. It will never rest.
We're back, and Alex has the perfect place to hide out. The cabin from Lake Placid. That really is the same cabin. He's only got to worry about crocodiles storming in after him. It'd be much worse if he was held up in the cabin from Black Sheep.
Shut up!
I'm surprised that isn't how Billy died. At this point, I'd want death to take me. I guess this is my life now. Wearing gloves to slowly eat canned goods so the lid doesn't slice an artery. Who amongst us wouldn't want to live out our days like the last episode of Breaking Bad? There's a mistake, though. He's not the next in line because Death remembered the original seating arrangement before the switching of the seats. That's right, Death hates when you ignore his assigned seating. Or maybe it was the dog who's next because he skipped out on the trip due to a case of worms. As for Alex, he's also testing out the invincibility theory by doing all the Mission Impossible stunts. Christ, even the dog knows to run away. You can live without cable for 1 day. This is not the time to climb the house and duct tape the wires back together. She really did something to piss it off. Some get a quick death, while now it's coming for Clear so hard, he'll turn her whole goddamn house into an amusement park attraction. He's creating a haunted house before he gets to roller coasters in part 3. Is this still Death, or did Alex open the Necronomicon when he was hiding in the cabin? So they take a wild stab at figuring that if Alex takes the hit instead, it'll break the cycle, temporarily killing him till he's brought back, and then Death will just give up because he maintains order in the rules for himself too. Or Death just takes a holiday and gives them 6 months of peace before continuing the cycle. You can tell this ending is a reshoot. The original ending had Alex dying, but Clear was spared from death because she was pregnant with Alex's child, making Death a champion for the family unit. Whereas the new ending, where they vacation in Paris, is the most unrealistic thing in the film. Yes, I can buy all the supernatural elements, but what I don't buy is that they'd ever get on a plane again.
Paris. I can't believe it.
You know, I just can't believe we got on a plane again. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't believe it. Was Death waiting for them to travel again so he could take advantage of his frequent flyer miles? A majority of the flick is very clever, well acted, with likable heroes, but the ending is just a typical gotcha ending where he figures out that Death did not skip over him. Okay, if he never figured that out, would nothing have happened? Death strikes seconds after he put more puzzle pieces together.
I told you were next. And it just skipped me. So who's next?
Well, at least one of you will be in the sequel. Despite its flaws, it's still a good time to this day. It divided critics, but was immediately embraced by horror fans for scenes of genuine suspense, shock, and the creative kills which would become a staple of the series. Its box office numbers proved that we wanted these kinds of stock horror posters to continue into the 2000s. What are you doing, Final Destination Bloodlines? Where's all the sexy actors looking moody into the camera? Is this a sequel to Faces of Death? We had to wait a few years for Death to update his passport to get back to the United States, though. So in 2003, we got Final Destination 2.
Death has this grand design.
The end
What did you see?
is just the beginning. Final Destination.
I hope you're ready for this.
Rated R. Starts Friday.
Final Destination 2 is completely different from Final Destination 1. That movie made you scared of planes. This one will make you scared of traffic and logs. There had to be a sequel to Final Destination because there's plenty of directors' last names that they didn't use for characters in the first, like how Alex Browning was named after Todd Browning. In this, we have characters named Kimberly Corman after Roger Corman, or perhaps his brother Gene Corman, producer of If You Could See What I Hear. There's Evan Lewis, who I hope is named after Herschel Gordon Lewis, and Tim Carpenter after John Carpenter, played by an actor whose own real name is a reference. Also, the first was a big hit, so of course New Line wanted a sequel. However, with it being released 3 years after the first, many of the original creators were unavailable, like co-writer Glenn Morgan and director James Wong, so the second still has a story credit from Jeffrey Reddick, and Shirley Walker returned as composer, while the script credits went to J. Mackie Gruber and Eric Bress, the writers and directors of The Butterfly Effect, and directing duties went to director and stuntman David R. Ellis, later of Snakes on a Plane and Shark Night 3D, which this film's cinematographer also shot Shark Night 3D. They're gonna give us a memorable sequel because all these years later, we still get nervous driving behind log trucks and giving this reaction. If you're walking into this cold, it'll give you a wrap-up of the first.
Tomorrow marks the 1-year anniversary since Valet Air Flight 180 exploded and crashed shortly after takeoff.
Remember 180. It'll be the mile marker for the accident in this one. Death's favorite number for some reason. He also likes going after characters who are artists. The art is much darker here than Clear's art. This character blames Pinocchio on the crash of Flight 180. The new characters also have friends, like the kindly spider who turns off the TV when she falls asleep watching exposition news.
So when Alex Browning got off that plane and took the other survivors with him, He basically screwed up Death's plan.
How do you know this?
It forced people to question these so-called everyday coincidences. What if they were something more?
Come on, who doesn't know someone who died from a computer exploding and a knife falling in your chest? We've heard enough from you, now to bring in our next expert to talk about people who were killed who get up and kill. Our hero this time is Kimberly. Let me just look at the filmography and see, yep, she's got a 911 appearance. The deaths will be crazy here. Don't make Dad more nervous than he is.
Can we go get the guys? I'm getting horny.
What kind of road trip is this, young lady?
A road trip of stereotypes from every 2000 sex comedy is what it is, with some omens along the way. Just give her one of your 2 turtle doves and she'll be on her way. They're heading to their vacation in Daytona, and they had to go this way. That way they can drive by a bus from the school from the first. And if that's not enough of a reference...
A candlelight vigil to mark the 1-year anniversary of the crash of Flight 180.
Isn't there anything else going on in the news? Aren't we in Iraq by now or something? While the first really captured the fear of flying perfectly, with the overall sense of impending doom only felt by the main character, this scene gradually gets intense. At first, it more so captures the fear of wandering into a zany road comedy, but the more it goes, like with the loud shots of the wheels, and the emphasis on the wet road and the merging, it's like it has the intensity of Vanishing Point, but technically driving normally. It gets silly with foreshadowing, like, okay, did Tony Todd send you? You could ask, ooh, what's it gonna be that does it? But we know it's the logs. Damn, Twin Peaks got crazier this season. They actually did try using real logs, but they didn't move as over the top as they wanted, so CGI logs were used, while the car crashes are all totally real. Hopefully without the people inside of them, but with some 70s and 80s style explosions. Oh man, that empty truck was filled with invisible explosives.
Guys, we've played Grand Theft Auto. What do? We wait for the fire department to put out the corpse, then we shoot the ambulance's tires.
It's all a vision, of course. Not really sure why Death gives them a glimpse of things to come. Death is stupid. He's just creating more work for himself. I saw a vision, you guys. We need to get cup holders. That coffee looked really hot. If she finds something more on the nose, it'll really be a sign.
I would help.
How the hell?
Yep, Highway to Hell playing. That's a sign. And this.
Shit. 5-0's coming. Let's fucking roll, man. What? You know how much fucking weed I have on me?
Dano is the Billy of the movie, so another indication they're slasher movie characters. And Sarah Carter here has been in horror movies too. She was in Nosferatu and Pearl. Different Nosferatu and Pearl. The cops play into the main story more in this one, with Officer, alright, nothing to see here.
What's going on here?
Learn to hold your coffee in the car, officer. This still isn't enough character types, though. Who's the douchey character gonna be? Colby from I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer? You son of a bitch! Come on in here! Get a front row seat to the action!
Oh my god.
Log from Blammo.
Product placement ruins every sequel. And since it is a sequel, Death's gonna be even quicker here. Death didn't like new Billy as much as old Billy. On the case this time, what's his name? Officer Ford Coppola or something? He'll be of no help because Kimberly's the one with the visions.
Look, I know this sounds crazy, but you guys all heard about Flight 180, right?
Yes, we know. It's all the news has been talking about today. Can we have someone explain it again, but in a cooler voice?
Everything seems cool, but then all the survivors start to die one by one.
Even if I hadn't seen the first, my god, I get the point. These are our collection of characters. There's lottery winner Evan, voice actor Terrence T.C. Carson, the mom saddened that her son didn't make it to the OC audition, stoner guy, and Canadian Michelle Dockery. And did I mention this guy's voice?
Until they were all dead.
He's having to step it up, considering he's sharing a movie with Tony Todd. It hasn't forgotten the other returning character either.
There was one survivor. Clear Rivers is in a padded room at the Stony Brook Institution.
I'm still not sold on the name Clear Rivers. It sounds like they accidentally named a character after a 70s porn star. I do like that since in this one, the group of survivors are all strangers, it's like they each had their own movies going on when they merged into a horror film, like Evan, who survived the crash, but isn't letting that get in the way of his spending spree after he won the lottery. That's right, I got top shelf old Chinese now, and I can cook all sexy like too. No more store brand cornflakes for me. I guess Death was really upset that Colby wasn't taken out much sooner. This dude seems like he would have gotten himself killed with his own tomfoolery, regardless of Death giving him a nudge. I'm kinda bummed he's out of this so soon, since I like David Petkow a lot better in this than in the third I Know What You Did Last Summer. The writers were having more fun with his character's douchey persona here, and I like his delivery.
Jesus Christ!
Well, he may have been lucky enough to survive that explosion, but not lucky enough to avoid death by ladder and leftovers. If you're wondering what happened to poor Alex since Devon Sawa didn't return for it, they explain his heroic death by, what? A freaking brick fell on his head? What, was Death taking an easy day or something? They really are fans of Home Alone 2 in this one. And I guess the deleted romance subplot is partly canon here, since they call Clear his girlfriend, or they hooked up after the Paris trip. Let's take a break. Now we get to see all the news footage describing the events of this one. They'll be talking about that for the next year.
They call him the Fiddler. His targets, women, alone. He's the death car on the freeway with Peter Graves, Dinah Shore, and Abe Vigoda in an explosive story of women in jeopardy.
The freeway fiddler has killed 9 women and will surely kill again.
Death car on the freeway.
We're back. What would Stephen King do? Mom, I need an inhaler to spray battery acid in Death's face. Why do these characters want to scare themselves more than they already are? What is that doing in her room? Like the doll the teacher had in the first. Do they all use the same decorator? There's only one person who can help them now. No, not Tony Todd. He's not in it yet. Find the insane asylum that's the most gothic looking. That'll give the answers. Here, Clear is being held in the same sanitarium they used in Halloween Resurrection. Great, so she's gonna die. Clear is voluntarily in here for safety, which, like Alex holding up in Danger Cabin, it's like, well shit, just let death take you. A padded room looks really boring, and do we really need someone else describing events from the first?
The survivors of Flight 180 died in the exact order they were originally meant to die in the plane crash.
I know, death is strict about seating. I know this! This is different though. In her premonition, they died last, but then her friends died first after the accident. So this time, they're dying in reverse order, cause, I don't know, sequel, whatever. And she can't have a baby with Alex, like in the alternate ending, since the brick thing.
And this is what happened to Alex when I was responsible for him.
Who gave you that picture? What kind of place is this? And can we get a TV in here that has Varsity Blues? Why do I need a security camera feed in here? Officer Thomas is starting to believe her. The clues are all there.
Did you see that?
See what?
Pigeons.
Pigeons?
That's right. Death by acidy pigeon shit. It was a mistake for Tim to go to the dentist that has death signs in the fish tank, and who also accepts pigeons. Oh, was fear of car accidents not enough for you? How about fear of the dentist? Why are you doing this in front of an open window when you have a very jumpy dentist?
But like how the opening makes you nervous from just the normal driving, this film's a trip to the dentist like it's already Marathon Man. We learn more about death here. It also controls birds now. This dentist trip is not worth the half-off coupon. Why do you even have that dangling over the chair? And that's not even the death scene. At least he died with 0 cavities. Smashed like a pancake from falling glass was enough for Clear to check herself out.
Second one just died. 15-year-old kid.
Sorry, had to go clothes shopping and stop by the hair salon first. I mean, they gotta look their best when going to Mr. Bloodworth's lair? Why does he have a lair? Seriously, if he isn't the physical embodiment of death, why is he working in a haunted house? Why is there a doorway to hell in there? Why is he trying to resurrect Freddy Krueger? Why does he talk like this?
Hello, Claire.
Hello, totally legit crematorium. What's the answers this time?
You can't cheat death. There are no escapes.
Bullshit.
Okay, well, guess that got me. Maybe he used Evan's lottery winnings to add more hellish features to his office, and to learn more research.
Only new life can defeat death.
What the hell does that mean?
Look up the alternate ending to part 1, then you'll understand. Although I like the last part of the scene.
How do you know my name?
I also watch the news. That was the end of that scene. They've got tickets for a real outdoor escape room to get to. Guys, can we talk about the pregnant lady who survived the accident later?
Wait, remember the on-ramp? There was a pregnant woman in a white delivery van.
He said only new life can defeat death.
Perfect. Now let's get the hell out of here before we're fried. We can't be late for the meeting of the survivors, which may turn into an intervention for Rory here. Tim's mom cares deeply about Rory's drug habit. It's nice of her to join, considering they're still scooping up her son with a spatula. I'm surprised no one believes Kimberly, considering the signs aren't subtle in this one. Oh, that happens anytime I walk into a Bennigan's. They'll baby-proof this place, but good. There, now I won't trip while holding onto a fork. And forget about going in the closet. Oh man, abort! It was a mistake to go into Uncle Buck's closet! Also a mistake to get in this elevator. Who is this? What? Why? Why is the creepy tooth fairy killer in the elevator with them? Death is really counting on the fact that she wouldn't just stand still and let someone take the hook out of her hair and not flailing around and getting your head caught in the door. Let's take a break. It's gonna take a while to get back up to the second floor, or at least her head will make it up there first.
Deep inside this vertical city, a machine has come to life, but the lift has made itself smarter, stronger, and deadlier. For God's sake, take the stairs.
We're back, people.
Where's Nora?
I think Eugene believes them now. Plus, Death ain't gonna let him get off that easy. He spent far too much on the effects budget.
Maybe they're all duds. 6 in a row? Never. That's impossible.
You've obviously never played with a Sega Menacer. They do have a plan to keep pregnant Isabella safe. Put her behind bars.
Oh my god.
What? What now?
My water just broke.
And the baby's out, and it's dynamite! Kidding, that'd be way too far-fetched, or maybe not. Here they talk about all the connections they have to the first movie. Eugene was a teacher who replaced Mrs. Luton, Thomas was a cop on site at the train station, and Kat was on the bus that, you know.
I don't know, I never made it. The bus I was on splattered some girl all over the road.
I know, I can still hear the shock from the theater audience to this day. I guess the point is that the events of Flight 180 caused a chain reaction to which they each survived other instances of death, so the car pileup was supposed to rectify that.
If you had never gotten off the plane, we wouldn't be alive in the first place.
It's tying up all the loose ends.
Can Death get a frickin' hobby? Nope, car accidents, logs, pipes. That's his new hobby now. They lived, but Death is gonna kill their bank accounts by canceling their car insurance. They should have seen this coming.
Officer Adams reporting a vehicle collision off 9A at the 180-mile marker.
So just avoid anything related to the number 180 and you'll be fine. See, the news is here to get even more material than they already have. I'm sure nothing will come of that. This movie's got a lot of problems, but there's still scenes that get a fun reaction, close to the bus scene from the first. Did you think it was gonna stop at airbag death? Nope, it's the Resident Evil movie now. And maybe let someone else drive who isn't gonna drive you off the road due to her flashbacks to her favorite ER episodes. Death hasn't stopped for cigars yet to celebrate the birth of Isabella's baby, so putting Eugene out of his misery will do. That gives them time to keep the doctor from accidentally killing Isabella.
Dr. Kalardian!
Not now, I'm busy. Oh, hey! Hey!
Police business.
That baby's going to jail. This is a pretty funny scene too, when they celebrate the birth of the baby.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Who the hell are they?
Oh right, she is completely unaware that Death's been chasing them the whole time. There's still 12 minutes left, so I'm guessing that's not the end. Oh yeah, it's going into Vision Cam, where Isabella didn't originally die in the visions in the first place, so she's not on the list. Oh, they're still dead.
Eugene.
And Allie Larder isn't on the list for Final Destination 3. So the way to defeat Death here is to make her premonition come true, but then have the doctor revive her after. I'll buy it. This movie's all kinds of okay. So many of these movies are the same that it's really the little things that make one better than the other, although this one does serve as a direct continuation, instead of being standalones like a lot of the sequels. But to compare it to the first, I like the ending a bit better in this one. This also doesn't do the stupid thing of having people pissed at the lead for saving their lives. They're just kind of skeptical is all. But the first is far, far more suspenseful, and the chemistry of the leads was better, whereas here, honestly, the characters are a little boring. But if you're here for the deaths, which I'm sure you are, then yeah, it delivers there. Not that the ending of this is perfect, but I do like that they really did cheat Death, unless you count a deleted part in the third that says they later died. However, one character is still screwed. Remember that kid whose life was saved in the field earlier?
Well, Brian was almost hit by that news van that day in the field, and your friend Rory, he pulled him back at the last second.
So if the survivor of any tragedy saves you, brace yourself because you'll still brutally die anyway. And like the first, if they didn't piece that info together, would he still have died seconds later? This is still a funny ending, though. While it didn't make quite as much money as the first, it was still a worldwide hit that made over 3 times its budget, and has a devoted fan base, if anything, for the crazy opening sequence alone. That means that in 3 more years, it'll be time for Final Destination: The Ride.
The tracks are broken! Don't push the button!
You're dead!
Final Destination 3.
Meet you at the end.
Rated R.
On second thought, maybe I'll just ride the teacups instead. Final Destination 3 continues our trek into, okay, which directors' names are the kids named after here? Okay, Jason Wise is named after Robert Wise. But the series is evolving. Now we have a 2-for-1 reference name with Louis Romero, named after Herschel Gordon Lewis and George Romero. Why, yes, I am interested in a double feature of Wizard of Gore and Season of the Witch.
While the series creator Jeffrey Reddick didn't return for this one, presumably because he was still standing in line for Space Mountain, James Wong did return, who directed the first film, same with co-writer Glenn Morgan, and cinematographer Robert McLaughlin also shot the first, and Shirley Walker continued doing music for the series, but while the second movie expanded on the plot of the first, this one does what most of the series entries do, which is make a standalone story that follows the same formula of someone has a vision, they escape a disaster, this time being a roller coaster accident, and then death chases them, plus Tony Todd will be in there somehow, this time just a voiceover role. We can have some connections to other movies though. Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Ryan Merriman were both in The Ring too, and Winstead co-starred with Jan K. Crystal Lowe in Black Christmas '06. Prepare for this one being a movie where death turns someone into cookies. A new use for tanning beds. And it has the same type of opening credits, which will foreshadow deaths later on, such as wishing to be far too big and then you explode, getting your dick stuck in a change machine and copied onto a penny, and the carousel going 500 miles an hour and shooting you into a deep-fried butter stand. This must have been an impossible carnival game since they had to CGI the marble. High schooler Wendy and her friends are enjoying all the rides that only cost 3 tickets for symbolism. Hello, on camera it says die. You're lucky that's the only thing that broke on these rides. They really should have put Colby in this film and not Final Destination 2. This is starting out just like I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. This has a top priority to get to the tragedy fast. I don't even know her name yet, and already she's getting the Windy Doom signs. What do I care? At least I got to see the previous characters with their stern parents first. All I know about these people is that they're trying to turn their school yearbook into a spank bank. These food orders typically take a while, so that's long enough to get a little bit of relationship drama.
I'm breaking up with him. A couple of weeks after graduation.
What? But why?
Oh. Now, that right there, that'll sell some yearbooks.
Oh right, cause he'll end up in jail 5 seconds after entering college. The most unrealistic thing here is that they won one game and got the biggest prize. No, you need to win 20 half-used erasers and then you get the big prize. I know why this carnival is so happening. They got MC Hammer to play the dancing Six Flags guy. All the teens will show up for this.
You're not a senior. And what are you gonna do about it, Miss Cutest Couple? Rah.
It's a school made up entirely of Shar-Pays. Jeez, do you have enough pictures for the yearbook yet? Take all the photos you want, but you're not gonna top Danny and Sandy flying away from their school carnival, not for lack of trying, like the game police flying away, which triggers the response from Roller Coaster Satan, no joke, voiced by Tony Todd.
You can run, but you cannot hide.
Mr. Bloodworth voices rides in his spare time? What is he? If he's not Death, is he straight up Satan? And why didn't you get Malcolm to voice Satan? The idea for the roller coaster accident came from New Line executive Richard Bryant to go along with the theme of the movie being a fear of losing control. Not really a subtle theme since they explain it in the first act.
They say the real fear with these rides comes from the feeling of having no control.
And then they do it again.
I mean, you know, I'm such a control freak, like, I couldn't handle that.
Yes, thanks, I get it. Can't fault the movie for lack of subtlety when the death ride has Satan as a doorman with signs saying he'll see you soon. Just call the ride Instant Death while you're at it. And they're cluttering this with characters who I would in no way be sad if they died in an accident.
Like this? Want it on the wacky ladder. What's that? Oh, well, it'd be my honor.
Ew.
Oh man, I sure hope Wendy saves all of them. The biggest thing I know about these characters is that they're all ass men. Oh no, don't sneak onto the ride. No, I don't want to see you plummet to your death.
Guess who's back?
I hate characters who definitely have a Porky's Pimpin' Pee-wee poster on their wall. It may say this is Pennsylvania, but clearly it's the Pennsylvania region of Canada, as this was shot on the Corkscrew roller coaster at Vancouver's Playland, and you better get used to riding this. They had to ride it 26 times to get all the shots. We will make every cast member turn into the near-vomiting John Candy in Vacation. It's still shot very well, like the lead up to the plane crash and the car accident in the previous. This makes good use out of the normal mechanics of the roller coaster, but being creepy when you shoot it like a horror film. Minus the fact that the cars are leaking carnival bacon grease. I can't believe an accident didn't happen sooner. All it took was an idiot dropping his camera and cheap duct tape covering the pipes to make it spin out of control and launch people into an empty parking lot. This guy has the right idea. Use everything Tom Cruise taught you. Hold on for dear life like grabbing onto a plane during takeoff. Little do they know that this was all supposed to happen. It's a new genius coaster designed by Jeffrey Rush in House on Haunted Hill. As long as you aim your body towards the big top, you're good. And the sign says not to stand. I bet this is all a vision. Who is causing all these premonitions to happen? So again, she sees everything that happened beforehand. Again, this leads to a panic attack. A fight breaks out, of course, and some people are forced to stay.
Hey, let me out.
Nobody else gets off this ride!
No one else gets off. Why? In this one, I'm like, if a character says the hydraulics are leaking, I don't know, maybe check. Sorry, son, those are the rules. Once the harness goes down, it's against the law to get you off the ride. Maybe it'll be a quick death, though, as when it happens for real, it's way quicker than in her vision. I wish there was a twist where it's all taking place inside my game of Roller Coaster Tycoon. What a bummer way to end the school year. I'm so sad to see them go that maybe I'll consider learning what their names were. It's kind of the opposite of the first, where in that one they all hated poor Alex's guts, whereas here, Wendy doesn't want to talk to any of them.
And if they are up in heaven with Lincoln and Gandhi, do you think they really care about our high school graduation? No, I am alive, and I don't care.
Oh yeah, these characters are hanging out with Gandhi and Lincoln. Maybe she'll cheer up. Nothing like a good yearbook signing in the middle of a storm. God, these characters are straight out of a Saturday morning sitcom.
Here's my cell. That was so nice of us.
The laugh track also died in the roller coaster accident. It is still in the continuity of the others, though.
And I found out about this high school French class. A kid had a vision that the plane was going to explode.
So stay away from buses, exploding computers, billboards, and pieces of metal near a train. Since Tony Todd isn't physically in it, Kevin just automatically assumes death will be chasing them, starting with these two. The writers must already be running out of shtick for the Hilton Express sisters. Not yet, though, because we needed to be reminded again that she's a control freak.
I'm usually such a control freak, but I didn't do enough to stop it. I should have done everything I could to stop it.
Now that we've cleared that up a third time, we can get back to the far superior ending of Yoga Hosers. The writers were very disappointed Julie didn't go up in flames, and I still know what you did last summer, so we'll make sure that happens here. The girls love their gas station big gulps, so you mix that with some leaky lotion, a blistering hot 73 degrees, that's practically the sun, and you'll be doomed only if you pick an ironic song choice. See, they'll be fine. They already showed the roller coaster scene. They'd only die if they played Ohio Player's lesser-known Tanning Bed of Love. I see nothing bad coming of this, as long as Wendy warns them.
Hello?
Hey, Ashley, it's Wendy.
Psych. Leave a message.
On second thought, I'm gonna let them die. I hope their bodies are okay. They were voted best breast implants in the yearbook.
Okay, that cut was pretty funny. Let's take a break so they can, like, grieve or something.
An accident in California.
And the mystery begins.
The game is over.
When the ride begins. Roller Coaster, starring George Siegel. Ride it in Sensurround.
Rated PG.
We're back and still grieving the loss of Ashley and Ashlyn.
I so feel this is so my fault.
How could it possibly be your fault?
Seeing women is nothing but fun bags.
Must every entry have a lesser Billy? I can't say I'm really confused about anything yet, because just in case you didn't know that Jason Wise was a reference to director Robert Wise, Robert is his middle name. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here, Kevin Lucio Fulci. I need to talk about Control again.
Before we got on the ride, Jason said, your fear is from a sense of having no control.
Can we please talk about something else, like the weather? The wind is begging you to find another topic to talk about.
Though some turns are unpredictable.
That's the last photograph Lincoln posed for. The photographic plate was broken, causing a line that can't be removed.
You haven't gone full conspiracy theory yet.
Look, see the shadow?
There, perfect! Also, what the fuck?
So pictures are the key to unlocking the mystery, like the photo of the second where the photographer emphasized the series magic number 180, and the carnival pictures predicting their deaths. Wendy, you watched The Omen before coming up with this theory, didn't you? Now they have to figure out what clues in the pictures will contribute to the survivors' deaths.
Could there be anything in these prizes?
Or what, like he's gonna get crushed by a giant SpongeBob? Hey, SpongeBob lives underwater.
That wouldn't be out of the ordinary for this series. Hell, this is a movie where they get trapped at a drive-thru, which leads to Frankie being hit with a propeller. Excellent. Now Frankie can hang with Gandhi. Oh, don't act like you're sad that Frankie's gone. You're more upset that you couldn't take advantage of the lunch hour 2-for-1 cheeseburger deal. If it makes you feel better, we can use the blood car behind us to dip our french fries in. Even Kevin is getting in on the control speak.
Willful ignorance is surrendering control.
Where did you read that somewhere in Mrs. Brooks' English class?
You, Wendy, it's all you ever talk about. They'll honor Frankie by looking at all his leftover dick pics while scanning through the thousands of other carnival photos.
I was gonna ask her to marry me.
Oof, well, you avoided a giant rejection.
So I guess Death knew beforehand that they would escape Death? Death is intentionally slacking on the job. Or was Frankie dumb enough that he always just stuck his head near a fan? Kevin has the right idea of not wanting to look at his own pictures, because it might be naughty.
I mean, is it like painful or embarrassing? I mean, there's nothing like up my ass or anything, right?
Do you have a picture at the carnival of a caramel apple up your ass? The one who has it the best is Lewis here. Nothing can take this guy down. He's played by an actor so tough, his name is Texas Battle. Sure, there's signs, but I believe in Lewis. The swords are gonna go into his ass, right? The Final Destination movies have it easy because they already take place in the most slapsticky horror movie universe. How is anyone still alive here? Why would you put those swords above the workout equipment? See, nothing can defeat the Texas Battle.
That's all I know how to do, Kevin! Baby, I just win!
Except for maybe skipping Skull Day. Anyway, someone will scoop up Lewis's brains. We're on the track now. They'll get to mourning Lewis later. There is another returning character that doesn't get talked about.
Osama Bin's supervisor wants me to get rid of these pigeons first. They keep setting off the alarms.
Uh-oh, time for the pigeon's yearly dentist checkup again. We have important death things to talk about. Could you not follow behind us with the forklift? What if it goes in my ass? Okay, fine, we'll hang around even more sharp objects than the gym and drop shit. Why is everyone in these movies a terrible employee? The sign out front says it's been 5 days since devastating forklift, slippery liquid, ladder, and shelf of seemingly endless wood incidents. However, 0 days since a nail gun incident. Let's take a break. Teddy Redmayne really did seem to care about what's-her-name.
It seems like someone's just gone plumb loco with a hammer and a box of nails.
Do you remember when you could sit outside and not worry about the mosquitoes and the killers?
The party's over.
We're back, and they figure that since they saved Ian, it'll skip him and Kevin will be next. I know, I saw the first one.
All right, my dad's here. He's gonna give me a ride back.
Wait, y'all have parents? I just thought it was siblings living together in a house where, oh no, it was Wendy's sister who was the mysterious person who escaped the coaster. How did that topic not come up yet? Just like how finally they decide to look at their own photos where he may be killed by the sun.
It's all out of focus and overexposed.
Like a firework went off in my face?
Cool, so don't go to the 4th of July party and stay away from the sun. Forget the picture, why would you even be going to this anyway? Stay in Alex's cabin for a while, he ain't coming back. She's being careful too. She drives in front of the log truck. But with it being a 4th of July party, that means I can complete referencing the 3 I Know What You Did Last Summer movies in a single review. The fisherman is disappointed he didn't somehow incorporate a loose cannonball in his death scenes. This whole town deserves to go. All the kids are acting like they should turn into donkeys at Pleasure Island. But at least he tries to save Julie. We're okay, people, because Julie somehow has an even stronger neck than Texas Battle. Ugh, I got a scratch. That hurt. Death knows how to throw a memorable party. That girl is gone. Whatever. Ian got some really good shit from the teen selling PCP behind the hot dog stand, laced with gunpowder.
You're dead!
Should have predicted the smashing death once he started messing with pigeons. It's 5 months later and Death is over his pounding 4th of July hangover, where we go into alternate ending territory. Actually, there's a lot of alternate scenes with this film. The DVD features a Choose Their Fate special feature, a collection of alternate scenes where they turn it into an interactive movie that alters some of the story and character fates. One of which says that Kimberly and Thomas from Part 2 died when the Camaro owned by Evan crashed into a store, causing them to fall into a wood chipper. Well, more original than a brick to the head, I guess. Then there was a scripted ending where Kimberly and Thomas did come back, and she was supposed to be Wendy's cousin. There's an ending where the final shot is Wendy being run over by a train. There's one where they all live, but they had to go with this one.
The next stop is the end of the line.
Because now Mr. Bloodworth is a Subway announcer, apparently. This does a more ambiguous ending where she has another vision where she and the other survivors, coincidentally on the same train, are part of another tragedy, but when she comes to, it leaves it open whether they made it out or not, but the sound effects suggest they didn't. They're not in the other movies. This one is, fine. It's fine. Just fine. While it's again a lesser version of the first, it still has those moments that stick with you, like the tanning bed death, and the roller coaster scene is fun, but while the tragedy in the first felt very real, this one's like a cartoon. It really doesn't make me nervous about roller coasters. I do like some things about the characters, like how Kevin starts out like a douchey guy who would be among the first to go, but he has a pretty good arc. I like how he and Wendy start out hating each other, but become pretty close. Also, a cover of Love Train playing over the end credits. Cute. What are they gonna do to top this in the 4th film in 2009? 3D race cars, bro.
We have to get out of here.
We're all gonna die.
The 3D event of the summer arrives. Hey! The Final Destination. Rated R.
Sounds like a chick flick.
Previously on Final Destination, a roller coaster ride turned into a nightmare, but it was all just a vision of things to come. Oops, sorry, that was Nightmare City. I just wanted to be talking about something different. The Final Destination films have been tackling all of our fears, from fear of planes to fear of car accidents to fear of roller coasters, and now the fear of being hit with a tire outside a racetrack. This one is different though. It came out in 2009, so that means it's in 3D. No, you're doing things wrong. Sure, it's titled The Final Destination, implying it will be the last, despite more sequels to come, just like when the fourth Friday the 13th did the same thing. However, the fourth isn't supposed to be in 3D. It should always be the third, especially since the 3D would have worked well for that film's roller coaster gimmick. They actually did want the third to be in 3D, but they gave up on that due to budget reasons, so here in the fourth, we got 3D visits to the salon. I am noticing a pattern though. James Wong directed the first and third film, but when he was busy, David Ellis directed the second, and since Wong was busy here too, David Ellis is back directing the fourth, and Eric Bress is back too, who also co-wrote the second, but it has a different cinematographer and composer this time, as Brian Tyler composed it, who also did music on the Expendables films, and it's shot by Glenn McPherson, who knows 3D. He later shot the Glee 3D movie, and he knows final chapters. He shot Resident Evil the final chapter. It's also significant in being past the moody cast looking at the camera posters, as the cast isn't in sight here. How will I know which cast members have been on One Tree Hill or not? Look at this, even the New Line logo is popping out towards the screen. This movie better not give me a giant headache. Too late. Why can't these races be much quieter and drive at normal speed with a more soothing soundtrack? Uh-oh, shit. These aren't gonna be our main characters, are they?
Tell me again why we chose this over seeing the movie?
Damn, and the girls were really looking forward to seeing the weekend's big movie fired up. My god, they're driving right towards the camera. It's like I really am in the middle of Talladega Nights. This place is another accident waiting to happen. Even the seats are trying to kill them. I doubt the dude who sneaks in booze-filled binoculars will be the hero. That's gonna be Nick and his girlfriend Lori here.
I really needed this.
Chemistry? And why are these TV characters the leads in this horror film?
And I thought chivalry was dead.
I have my cowboy right here.
Get a room, guys.
Oh yeah, I always see the cast of Saved by the Bell, the new class, at the races. If you think they're cartoonish, wait till the racist shows up.
There goes the neighborhood.
The hell? Porky's 2 had less stereotypical racist guys. He's this close to calling someone one of the good ones. But Nick knows right away that something is wrong. It can't be a good thing to leak delicious chocolate syrup all over the track. I'm sure this happens all the time.
Is it safe to sit here? Of course, there's a fence there. We're fine.
See, the fence will block the cars sent flying into the crowd, but it won't stop these omens from popping up, like the flyer of deceased drivers, or the shirt that says, "Life's a bitch and then you die." The hell, sir? This is a family establishment! There's a less suspenseful build-up in this one. I'm just wondering what one of the drivers did to piss off Death, because that's who Death seems to be after, like when the car drives away leaking gasoline. This is more about what can fly towards the screen, and can it be a car or a tire? The answer, yes, we can fling cars and tires towards the screen. David Ellis has shown a specialty for over-the-top accidents in the series, but like how the first was inspired off the crash of TWA Flight 800, this takes inspiration from the tragic Le Mans death of 1955, in which 84 people died. I'm sure all of them thinking that if our brutal deaths are ever documented in a movie, I hope that it's a gimmicky 3D exploitation film, where people are crushed by engines and impaled with bleachers. It's shot like a disaster film where they failed to stop an incoming comet. At least Hunt and Janet made a killing by betting all their savings they'd be crushed by falling concrete. Alright already, get to where it's all a vision. I'd still rather be watching Nightmare City right now. They had to make it a premonition, that way they can double back so I can catch all of their names and what directors they're named after. I love who they pick here though, like Janet Cunningham named after Shaun Cunningham, Nick O'Bannon after Dan O'Bannon, and no joke, Hunt Wynorski. They named a character after Chopping Mall Maestro Jim Wynorski himself. That's kind of awesome. How can I be mad now that it's shown love for the co-writer of Screwballs? I gotta find something to latch on to. I'm 4 movies deep and still feel like I'm reviewing the same movie again. Here they are, getting out of there of course, and another fight breaks out. It so wants to get to the disaster so fast that this is all happening before the opening credits.
Nick, what is going on? Have you all lost your fucking mind?
Though it's a pretty great cut to the credits, this is when you know they're gonna be playing a lot with the 3D. It goes Friday the 13th 3D style in giving us an extremely gimmicky credit sequence that redoes some of the deaths of the previous films, but making it like a 3D theme park attraction. This looks like I smoked meth and watched the opening credits of Fight Club. But anyway, whew, that was crazy, guys. But we talked staff into giving us 50% off extra espresso. Should have seen the tragedy coming. They named the Speedway McKinley. It's nice of them to name the Speedway after the fallen Ian McKinley of the third film. And they were seated in the series Deadly Numbers, Section 180, because of course they were. The character setups get less and less as the films go on. The problem with setting the tragedy before the credits is it's not giving me a reason to care that any of them have been given a second chance. All I know about them is that they're dating. At least in the third, I knew that she likes taking pictures for the yearbook and loves control. I know way more about the racist guy Carter, who wastes no time in hurling slurs towards security guard Michael T. Williamson. He is gonna be so embarrassed when he found out he insulted Bubba of the Bubba Gum Shrimp Company, his favorite restaurant. Enough of this dialogue shit, I'm here for the 3D. Fall asleep and have a bitchin' nightmare. Why did that happen? First there's 3D nightmares keeping him awake, and then this. Sure, he can say he's mourning the loss of his girlfriend, but I'm thinking he drinks and toes on a nightly basis anyway, and stalking any black person he comes across. Just saying, this ain't the first time he's gotten the urge to drunkenly assemble a burning cross to put in someone's yard. I'm surprised they didn't give him a Confederate flag hat and a copy of Birth of a Nation in his back pocket. I would say that this seems out of place, but it's worth it for how hilarious it is when you go to the Final Destination 4 Wikipedia page and it says films about the Klan. Yes, we all want a double feature of Mississippi Burning and the Final Destination in 3D. They needed someone for the audience to cheer when Death steps in. Death is the neighborhood watch who says, "Hate has no place in our town, sir." Who wouldn't enjoy the irony in how this guy dies?
Honey, come outside quick and grab the marshmallows. Let's take a break, as not only are they going to be shocked about Carter's death, but they're going to look all sexy about it. My ass looks good when there's death on the news.
Saturday, get ready to kiss your blues away with Lonnie Anderson.
I want you.
And Burt Reynolds in Stroker Ace.
We're back, people. Nick has extra powers. He envisions everyone's death, but can't put the clues together because he forgot his 3D glasses. They should have taken it a step further by putting the movie in outer space. Look, Krista Allen is right there. She took the Emmanuel series to space. The opening disaster happened so fast that I forgot who was supposed to die and who got away. I'm guessing she was supposed to die, since she's going to the world's most clumsy beauty salon. This sequence is at least more suspenseful than the opening, like the little sounds they add to the pedicure, and wincing when you think something's gonna get clipped off. Same with the clipping sounds when cutting her hair. Or will the ceiling fan chop her head off? Or too much hairspray in the water. But like the third film, something bad will happen when you bring in 2 big gulps. This wouldn't have happened at Supercuts. Of course that wasn't gonna kill her. She has to say something ironic first.
I've got my eye on you two.
I love the smell of dead MILF in the morning. What say the other characters?
We just lost a really hot MILF.
I like my MILF joke better, thank you very much. She's even called MILF on the ending credits. The dialogue here has a weird flow to it.
Weird is putting tampons in your kid's ears. That's weird. She was bound to die sooner or later.
That's actually why we asked you guys to come over.
You invited us here for a tampon ear party? No, they need the obligatory exposition scene, where a simple Google search brought up all the stories from the previous films. That saves them a trip to see Tony Todd, as Mr. Bloodworth is nowhere to be found in it. He doesn't even have a voice cameo. Clearly meaning he was promoted from voicing the roller coaster Satan to being a showman at Hellfest. So what are the rules in this one?
Some say the chain can be broken. Like if you were to intervene into someone else's death, that would end it.
Yeah, this series is a little lax on the rules. We're not really sure what lore from the other ones will follow. At least it's the first in the series to not have a Billy clone in it.
If you're right about this whole crash thing, then I'm going to make the most of every moment I have left. So I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to go get laid.
That's because this one has an Evan clone. Nick's gonna need another vision. It's been a while since we've had more 3D.
Nick? What did you see?
Oh, it was horrible. It was the ending of Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. So because of his Google searches, he knows about death loving the seating order of how people die, and what better way to figure out the order than going to the scene of the accident. He found the rules of death on Google but couldn't search for a seating map? Even George believes him right away, to the point of showing him all the graphic security footage of the deaths. I need a second opinion, kids. I'm thinking of editing yakety sax over this footage. It's here they figure out that if they break the chain of deaths, they'll be spared. So they'll have to find the mechanic to save him from death. Where do we find him? Ah yes, go to wherever a cool 3D effect is going on. Sparks! That'll work. Are we sure all of us should be going? After all, at least one of you will be a clumsy moron. This mechanic needs to listen to Nick. Nick knows horror movie rules. He's played by Bobby Campo, who was in the Scream TV series. He'll make sure you're standing in just the right place so you won't get crushed by the runaway van. That solves that. Thank God we saved you.
Y'all take care.
Crap. forgot that being hit with a carbon dioxide tank is classic Wynorski. But meanwhile, in Caddyshack 2000s edition, needs more tinted hair to be a proper douchey 2000s movie. Get back to the heart of the series. Another death scene involving pigeons. I love that that's been a trademark of the series. Please let the bird poop on the car cause her to crash into a truck filled with manure and dynamite, and make sure that you frame all the references just right. Like what? Now we have a water company named after clear rivers from 1 and 2? I can't wait till they go to a liquor store and get some new Billy beer. I've got a hunch it's gonna be the water that takes someone out. I'm betting it will be Hunt. He's a lifeguard because not only is he the Evan of this film, he's also the Colby, combining all David Petcow characters. This is so silly, but I'm intrigued at what kind of silliness leads to their deaths, like a squirt gun causing pool drainage. They're making you guess how water will kill someone. Will it be Hunt, or will it be Janet in a deadly car wash that will shoot coins at her at 200 miles an hour? You know how it goes. Who amongst us hasn't killed time in the car wash and accidentally gotten our head stuck in the sunroof when a pipe starts pouring water in? Doesn't this place have any employees? Nope, if you need help getting out, you better hope you have friends because you're on your own. Now as for Hunt over at the swimming pool, can't say I was expecting his nuts to get sucked up through the drain. Yep, just another day. That's the normal look of a man who just saw guts blasted out a tank, like he's looking at a 70-year-old man in a thong. Although I like George's reaction to all this.
I'm next.
George, you can't give up.
No, it's okay.
I already died a hero in Vietnam. I can take whatever death throws at me. I like this guy. I'm not gonna hold up in a cabin like Alex did. I'm gonna enjoy a nice glass of wine, even if it'll be the death of me. Why isn't George the main character here? He's the only one here who actually is a character. These two, I'm having trouble remembering their names. What is it? Nick Ridley Scott? I don't know. I'm way more sad when it looks like George might be dead.
Are you crazy? After everything that we've been through.
What the fuck are you doing, man? Why are you trying to kill yourself?
Cause I don't want my nuts gnawed off in a swimming pool. I like where this scene goes.
I've been trying to kill myself all day. Took a bottle of painkillers. I just threw them up.
Why am I not watching a movie about that? This guy has been going through his own dark arc and Groundhog Day off camera. And they saved 3D's life too.
I think congratulations are in order.
Cool. Now who wants popcorn? Whoa, oh my god, scary. I guess they think everything is okay now. Well, there's a half hour left, so I'm guessing not. Let's take another break while Death does his thing and makes them think they're okay for a few days.
This is Sam Cooper. He's cute. Being invisible gets him into spy rings, diplomatic circles, whoa, girls' locker rooms. He's the man who wasn't there in 3D. Consider the possibilities.
Hoppa! Hoppa!
Rated R.
We're back, and now it's even getting meta with the 3D.
Are you sure you don't want to come to the movie? It's in 3D.
Oh yeah, nothing gets me hotter than Invisible Man sex. He doesn't need to see any 3D movies. He can already watch 3D movies for free in his head, per his visions. My god, is it gonna have something to do with Mortal Kombat? We're in the third act now, where another person at the Speedway lived, so that means they got the order wrong, and now we can meet more wacky people at the hospital.
You know how many of your kind I killed in Korea?
I'm Chinese, sir.
What am I, meeting Carter's grandpa now? Death is using this to leak water onto Jonathan, but also really wants to mess with this old dude too, I guess. He is gonna write a complaint that this hospital has the thinnest ceilings in the country. Saving his life is the only way they can save themselves. But there's still 20 minutes of the movie left, so that wasn't gonna happen. I don't know if this franchise is at a death scene in a shopping mall yet, so what's it gonna be here?
I like that. Oh, hell.
Yep, you can't have a character named Wynorski and not have some carnage in a shopping mall. What is that, and why is it dangling above us? I don't care, as long as George is okay.
My wife said that deja vu is like God's way.
God damn it! He was too likable to redo the bus scene from the first. I'm curious what movie they're gonna see at this mall, since the theater has some amazing choices. I don't know what I'd choose between Death Fist and Saving Little Krishna. What they end up seeing is a movie called Love Lays Dying, which puts this in an alternate universe, because they're watching Rennie Harlan's A Long Kiss Goodnight, where in this universe, it's a 3D movie called Love Lays Dying. It's a good movie, so I hope Death doesn't interrupt their screening with something ridiculous. Oh, come on, what is this, Looney Tunes now? There are still funny touches, though, like the movie being on so many screens he has no clue which one they're in, and it's cool they're working a 3D movie screening into a 3D movie.
Wait, I was meant to see this movie.
Bye-bye, suckers!
Props for taking the teaser trailer for My Bloody Valentine 3D and working it into the plot here. Even if Death seems to have had enough of everyone's shit in this. My god, beforehand, Death just specifically targeted those who escaped in the first place. But here, Death is wiping out anything that moves. He even saved the harshest death for Lori as she's ground up in an escalator. Wait, this is another vision, isn't it?
I mean, it's deja vu.
Sweet, that means George is still alive.
My wife said that deja vu is like God's way.
Damn it, go to a universe where he looks both ways before crossing. I can see why this one is often called the worst in the series. I mean, yeah, it does just do the same formula again, but here, other than George, I don't really give a shit about any of this. It makes me want to apologize for saying that the characters in Part 2 were forgettable. Sure, they weren't the best set of characters in the series, but they were characters. Here, they're not. They're just props with no personality, no real detail or backstory. They're just tools for the movie to go through the usual motions. It's clear the real star isn't them. It's the 3D, because these people are a whole lot of nothing. Like, why do I even care about the 2 weeks later epilogue? Because I know they're gonna end up dying. That being said, the 3D is a really good star in this. It's old school 1980s, we're just gonna get silly and throw a lot of shit at the camera and give you your money's worth with this gimmick. Despite the thrown together script, this is the one I actually would see in theaters again at a late night show and get some drinks, even if My Bloody Valentine was the way better 3D horror movie of the time, because that gave us great 3D and didn't skimp on the characters. I've said all I needed to say. Get to them dying and make it look cool.
What if us being here was the plan from the beginning?
Jesus freaking Christ! Okay, the cut at the opening was well done, and the cut to the end was well done too. And did I say it was 80 minutes? No, if you take out the credits, it's a 75-minute movie. For something that was intended to be the last in the franchise, they wanted a script as thin as possible. But it was still a hit, so finale be damned, because we got Final Destination 5 2 years later, the shortest time span between the sequels.
Death doesn't like to be cheated.
Final Destination 5.
Who dies during a massage? Seriously.
Rated R. Starts August 12th.
Welcome to Final Destination 5. What are we doing this time? Okay, we're doing bridges, LASIK eye surgery, and gymnastics now. Sure, the Final Destination was supposed to be the final destination, but where there's a final chapter, there's always a new beginning. Therefore, death will be revealed to be Roy in this entry. Despite coming only 2 years after Part 4, this one breaks the cycle of odd films directed by James Wong and even films directed by David Ellis, as this time Stephen Quayle takes over as director, later of Into the Storm, and it's got a different writer, as Eric Heiserer wrote the script previously of the Elm Street remake. Where's the evidence that death here isn't remake Freddy halfway crossing into the real world? The priority of the filmmakers was to make it a little bit darker, like the first in the series, as opposed to when it got more comedic, like in the fourth. But they still bring back the 3D of the fourth film. It is a 2011 film after all, but the important question is whether they still have characters named after horror directors. And they do. We've got Peter Friedkin after William Friedkin, Candace Hooper after Toby Hooper, and Olivia Castle after William Castle. That's all I needed to know, because the plot, well, what do you think it is? They survive a disaster, and death chases them. Let's do this again! And with the emphasis on 3D like in the previous, yeah, there's some glass and skull shattering towards the camera, but the titles need to shoot out more, like the letters are gonna poke me in the eye. How am I supposed to get excited that Courtney B. Vance is in this when you already kill his name in the opening credits? They are shattering the screen so much that even the glass is bleeding from cutting itself. It's for every name and credit, too. These credits go on for a while, but we paid to see these damn 3D effects, so we're gonna use them. It's making 3D images out of the death scenes from the first and this one, while also doing 3D references to deaths from the fourth that were also in 3D. This one's thinking fourth dimensionally. Can't tell if log reference to the second, or if whoever designed the credits got tired on the job and decided to take a shit on the director's name. Now we can meet our heroes, getting in their last meal.
Isn't this amazing? Thanks, man. Just remember that when you see my sales report for last month.
Already far better characters than in the fourth, except for you, George. I'll always love you. Nicholas D'Augusto plays Sam Lawton. I don't know what director that's a reference to. I'm just gonna call you Sam Bruno Mattei from now on. They're going on a company retreat that's ruined because he and his girlfriend Molly are having serious problems. Unlike the other characters.
Hey. Oh, it's Candace, right?
Not
Is that oh, hey.
Let's rub it in Sam's face so we can show him what a winner looks like. It's motivating. Oh, great. Who's this gonna be? Stoner Van? Is this gonna be the Frankie of the film? I don't want another Frankie. Never mind, Frankie got hot. Like, goddamn, we haven't gotten the point yet that she's the sexy one. Ha, there you go. I don't know what company this is, but I'll take an internship. I bet they all got game here.
Ma, look at me. Look at me. Hey, if you ever need anyone to talk to, I've been told like I'm a really, really good listener by a lot of ladies. Shh, wait, don't say anything.
PJ Byrne is gonna be the PJ Byrne of the movie. I think we need one more comic relief.
Hey, Stan, how's it going?
Hey, it's Sam, sir.
Did you just correct me?
I've decided to be the movie's asshole. I've got stiff competition. Look what's going on in the warehouse.
It's not a day off. It's what? Retarded?
Hey, we do that kind of talk online and online only. Just let the poor guy go. Look at this place. It was made for a Final Destination movie slaughterhouse. This place looks more dangerous than the opening credits. The employee bullying is a way bigger problem with Sam here, with him complaining about how he might go to Paris, but he'll miss his now ex-girlfriend.
They want to send me to the flagship restaurant in Paris for who knows how long. Could be 6 months, could be a year. Just thought I'd be leaving too much behind.
If I leave, I'll miss my favorite bus. And how? This is going to be the best bus trip. They can have delightful small talk, and the complimentary movies are all Godfrey Ho ninja films. A sweet deal. And there's free references to others. Logs. That reminds me, do I be the first to take a shit on the bus? Nah, I'll wait for David Koechner. I've seen this film once before, but that was back when I saw it in theaters, and there's plenty I remembered about it, such as the ending and also the gymnastics scene, but for the life of me, I could not remember what the opening disaster was, and I tried for weeks to recall. Like, it's gonna come to me, these set pieces are all famous, I'm gonna remember, and I just couldn't until I sat down to rewatch it. I don't fault the movie for that though, because watching it again, this bridge collapse is still a good, crazy, over-the-top scene. It's also the longest of the opening disasters up to this point. I think what it is whenever I made a reference to this movie, it was this. My bridge collapse references were always reserved for the Mothman prophecies. No, Olivia, you can't die too! You're the only reason I became an intern at this place! No! Thank God she's okay. She can still be fine. That car had a soft roof. You'll just get a little headache if it hits you on the head. I think we know who's gonna get the worst of it. Damn, pain is way more painful here than in an Anchorman brawl. My lord, that does it. From now on, I'm taking the tunnel on my trips. Never mind, I've seen daylight. I'm just never going outside again. Do we get to the it's all a premonition yet? No, we've still got some 3D to show, then he can wake up. It was then that Sam wondered if he should just simply get off the bus himself or tell everyone. He has been praying for new co-workers since he started. The bad news is the company retreat is canceled and there's no way out of town. The good news is I'm calling up another bus gang. We're going bowling instead. Packer knows how to run his office smoothly. God, I'm gonna get blamed for all of this. Get me the finest lawyer in the business. Johnny Cochran will get me free. Detective Courtney B. Vance is getting to the bottom of this mystery, even if he has to question every Dave Franco in the area. He'll get the juicy gossip.
Tell me about the breakup. Was he upset? Scale of 1 to 10.
1 meaning he's a sack of vanilla in bed. 10 meaning you're looking for a nice, handsome detective to sweep you off your feet. Let's take a break. Like everything else, I've seen this scene before.
If whatever John Klein is experiencing 99 will die is all in his mind, how come his nightmares are all coming true? The Mothman prophecies.
We're back. You don't need to recap anything. That's why we have the news.
And although they've been branded the Lucky 8, the surviving employees now face an uncertain future.
What, are they getting laid off too? So, another funeral scene, huh? Do we just repeat the lines from the other ones? How are we supposed to do that? This is a prequel. Shh, quiet, you idiot. We're not supposed to know that yet. Maybe this mass death will reignite the spark in these two lovebirds.
Chris Boylan. David Buckler.
We are gonna rail hard after the post-funeral buffet. Even Mr. Bloodworth has a bigger interest in this group's tragedy. He shows up at the actual funeral. He was pissed off he was left out of parts 3 and 4. You're gonna include my wisdom if I have to watch your friends be buried myself. I'm also thinking that death chooses to stalk those who have jobs that are made for a horrifying death scene. So, what's going on in the kitchen today? I don't know, they're shooting a PSA across the room.
But really, I should have cleaned up the grease over there. And they should never put the deep fryer so close.
Oof, she must have survived a mineshaft explosion a week earlier. Death is killing their careers and their romance. I don't know what that's gonna lead to, but get the hell out of that house! Oh good, the tea didn't explode rusted nails in your face. I guess we're okay.
When everything started going down on that bridge, the only thing I thought about was you. Getting you to safety.
I assure you, I heroically saved you in my premonition, and I did not run like a schoolgirl when you plummeted to your death. Will you give me another chance? These two have much better plans to cheat death. He's gonna achieve immortality by becoming Tom Cruise in parody videos. And this explains why Ellen Rowe wanted her daughter to have a baby on the pit. New life will spare your life. That's a rule, I think. Now we can play What's It Gonna Be? Is the vent gonna crush her? Is the cord gonna skyrocket down her throat? I'm gonna have to pay extra attention to everything that goes on here after I mistakenly said that poor Hunt Wynorski got his balls stuck in the pool when it was his asshole. Yeah, sure, I could have re-recorded that when I was editing it, but I'm running out of things to say about this series, and I needed something to talk about here. Even if this is one of my favorite deaths in the series, it's my second time seeing the film, so I know exactly what's gonna happen, but it's still very effective in making me bite my nails as I watch it. Like, good God, I'm still thinking, oof, I don't want to accidentally step on a screw, knowing she's about to crunch like a damn taco shell. My favorite thing about that is that that's the image the Sun-Times used for Roger Ebert's review. Thanks for coming, bro. I knew she was lying when she told me that all gymnasts' bones are made of rubber. Lying bitch. I love her. We can make the scene even weirder.
Let's just go, Sam.
They're toying with the idea of making Bloodworth a ghost now. They're dealing with the company losses in their own way.
Oh, Debbie. You were so naughty.
He's relieved the head of HR also perished in the bridge accident. Or is it the other way around? Did HR survive, and they're gonna save the company by staging an elaborate spy incident for Uncle Touchy over here?
This covers a session for 2 different physical therapies.
Like massage therapy. Erotic massage.
Ugh, I'm not gonna tell him that every room is a jigsaw trap. Ooh, this is gonna get wacky. Does this guy go everywhere thinking it's a sex club?
You're going the wrong way there, little lady.
我冇做錯嘢.
Oh.
What is it, an 80s comedy now? Is it Final Destination or a deleted sequence from My Tutor? When will these boys get themselves laid? This is gonna get crazy. What's going on back in the office? That's where the 3D is, but seems a little tense in there. Let's go back to the massacre. Ah, acupuncture.
2 billion people can't be Wong. I said Wong. You follow me?
Death is just doing everyone a favor here. Here, we'll make the table extra slippery so you can fall off of it somehow. And remember, no calls from foreshadowing props. This is a prequel. Shh, go to sleep. Again, we're not supposed to know that yet. Not only can we play What's It Gonna Be, but the character in the scene will play it too.
Oh. Hey.
That's the first thing I'm noticing, so I don't think it'll be that kills me, but you should definitely put out the fire still. See, it'll be the needles that get him. The fire was innocent all along. Now let's call this death scene a day. 5 movies in and the deaths are still unpredictable. Here I was guessing fire or needles when it was the kindly Mr. Statue that did it. It's also perfect timing for these two to get even closer. They don't have Isaac around anymore. There goes about 20 different lawsuits tied to the company. Only one man can help, or at least say something cryptic.
Why are you following us? Who are you? What are you doing?
Okay, this is normally the part where I go, oh, is your job being death? Is it you who is a fallen angel orchestrating these kills, or at least providing the premonitions? Well, I can't say that now because I've seen the 6th film, so I know his backstory, although now I'm just wondering why he isn't saying, I experienced this before too. I survived a Space Needle restaurant collapse in the early 1960s. Instead, now he says, look, if you kill someone, you can take the time that they have left. That's a new theory that I'm working with. We've tried being dead and resuscitated, and also if you create life by having a child, but now we're doing, you have to shoot someone. Make sure you relay it back to your friends who aren't there. Oh right, Olivia. I forgot you were in this. Olivia Castle decided to hang out in the coward's corner instead of going to Isaac's death scene. Ah, LASIK eye surgery. No need for them to contact you anyway because you are so dead. And that bear must have survived a crash too because she is killing that thing. At least she gets to watch some on-screen entertainment while she gets ready. Yes, all part of Bloodworth's extra rule. If you cheat death, you'll be fine, but you'll throw up whenever you hear the 9th Symphony. It's amazing how many deaths in this series could be spared if people just stopped leaving their water around everywhere, and if they built these machines not to go into maximum overdrive whenever they get splashed. Seriously, I don't even get machinery in this universe. Why would it even be programmed to go that high? And why was your window just made out of easily breakable sugar? Sorry fellas, it appears the clinic may have made a mistake. They sent out for an eye surgery laser, but accidentally got one of those machines used to interrogate James Bond. Let's take a break. It's about damn time someone wrote their will in one of these films.
Welcome to the health club where you'll sweat blood. Death Spa. An exercise in terror.
We're back, and yeah, they're figuring out death's love of numbers and the correct order of the deaths. I know, damn it, I know. I'm just here for the kills. Oh, we're back to this room. For the love of God, you may not have that much time left anyway, but you could at least not make it so easy for death. Find another job that doesn't have steel hooks dangling above you. I guess Death just simply didn't like that guy. What kind of workplace is this?
They're shutting down the plant.
Not the plant. Just us. Can you believe it?
I can believe it. You have an employee with a hook through his head. I do like how much more frustrated Peter gets throughout it.
No, guilt doesn't kill you.
Obviously, you've never met my in-laws.
God damn it, we're not on one of your sitcoms. This dude is itching to become a killer. He's almost giddy when he believes Nathan may have killed the asshole employee. I kinda wish they focused more on that, with it being the story of someone who wants to kill in order to achieve extra lives, but...
Who's what?
The deaths are still pretty funny. And even through all that, Sam still decides to go to work.
You're not seriously going to work, are you?
Isaac died on a massage table. Death is gonna come for me. I don't think it matters where I am.
Okay, but again, you could still be somewhere where there's no open flames and pots of boiling water. Yeah, maybe I should have stayed home. I don't want water to get splashed on the slicer, and then it starts going 200 miles an hour, or this boneheaded move. Frankly, I would have deserved that. But after work, they're gonna get a tiny moment of happiness by making a romantic dinner for Molly. But also he'll lose points because what part of you thinks it's a good idea to light hundreds of candles in this place? Or to let the man inside who is totally a serial killer now? I remember the first time I saw this, and I wasn't crazy about it for it being yet another that does the same formula again without moving forward that much. The first 5 movies are like a horror franchise, where every entry is the 2000s remake, which must be why Arian Escarpeta of the Friday the 13th remake is in it. But there are good ideas here that aren't from the others, like Peter fighting his conflicting feelings about murdering someone. I wish he was the main character, since he's the most original character in it, and a good arc too, starting out like the jolly best buddy, and then ending up a killer who wants to wipe the two of them out. I love that he's going Jerry Maguire cruise and Collateral cruise all in the same film. Another thing that makes this work better for me the second time is that I'm watching it right after seeing the fourth, which was the worst in the series. This movie does its characters way, way better than that film. The 3D was more of a standout in the fourth, whereas here, I keep forgetting that it's in 3D, which was impossible to do in the fourth, and everything's all good here. He just scored the rest of Courtney B. Vance's life. Now they can be friends again.
But you just witnessed the murder of a federal agent. And I'm not gonna spend the life I just earned in prison.
Yeah, I didn't quite think this through. I am so going to jail if I survive this. Someone come in quick and save the day. 3D, you son of a bitch! I knew you were still lurking around here somewhere. Now it's 2 weeks later and they can go off to Paris for his dream job until we get the best ending of the whole series.
Come on, get up,
Huh, I've seen this movie before. Don't worry, it's nothing, dear. I think the guy from Idle Hands got kicked off the plane. So yeah, it's a prequel to the first, and oops, they're on the doomed Flight 180. That's one way to get the 180 trademark back in the movie. It was cool how all the clues were subtle too. They didn't have anything beforehand that screamed the year 2000s, just the kinds of phones that they were using, and also the date on the gift certificate. It's the Remember Me of the Final Destination movies. I also like that we get to see the crash from another point of view, and it's still a terrifying ass thing to watch. And that's how he became Two-Face. As for Nathan and the time that he got from the dead employee...
What do you mean?
Turns out Roy had an enlarged blood vessel in his brain so big, he's about to burst. They said he'd be dead any day now.
Ah, shit. And thus ends Final Destination 5, which now makes me wonder why in the news coverage from the first, they weren't like, oh, and the wheel of the plane crushed a man in a bar, too. But like all the others, it was a success, yet they decided to give it a bit more time for the next. So 14 years later was when we got Final Destination Bloodlines. I'll get to that one once it's out of theaters. The Mr. Bloodworth origin story we've been waiting years for.
50 years ago, Grandma survived a disaster.
Because that would be crazy.
Final Destination Bloodlines. Good luck.
Great. First, these movies made me afraid of planes, traffic, roller coasters, bridges, and now I can't even go up in Space Needles in the 1960s. Originally meant for an HBO Max release, instead they made the right call to send Final Destination Bloodlines theatrical, where it breathed new life into the franchise with fresh ideas, winning over critics and audiences alike. In other words, far more successful than 2025's other years later horror sequel. It had been 14 years since the previous Final Destination, so in that time there were some ideas that were being bounced around, with one script being about first responders, till eventually it became about death stalking whole bloodlines of people, and writing here went to Guy Busick of Scream 5 and Abigail, Laurie Evans-Taylor, and with John Watts of MCU Spider-Man and Clown and Cop Car being brought on. The directors were newcomers to the series too, but Zach Lipovsky is no stranger to horror franchises. He directed Leprechaun Origins, and you can tell how much love the filmmakers have for the series as they keep in the core elements that bring fans back to the franchise while introducing new ideas so it doesn't just feel like you're watching the same movie again. For instance, we're going back in time now.
What was that?
Nothing.
It appears someone didn't pay attention to any of the MST3K driving PSAs. Honey, I've got a wicked surprise for you. I just got a brand new mistress. Isn't she gorgeous? But before then, we're going to SeaWorld, baby. Wow, that's nice, dear. There's a cafe on the ground somewhere, isn't there? Yes, Paul called in some favors and got he and Iris tickets for the grand opening of the Skyview. You know, tickets for Herman's Hermits also would have sufficed. The plus side, they'll be eating at a new 5-star restaurant. Downside, this bratty-ass kid and his coins and no proper elevator safety.
We'll take the next one.
Aw, come on. We can fit you in.
Thanks.
In their defense, they didn't know that this was a bad idea. The Towering Inferno hadn't been made yet.
Excuse me. Sorry, it does that sometimes.
Stupid 60s! They were in such a rush to get the tower done, it was completed way ahead of schedule.
The entire project was completed 5 months ahead of schedule.
Is that a good thing?
Of course it is, honey. The cracks in the elevator means we can breathe in the fresh air. I like my towers like I like my steak, rare and bloody. Unfortunately, the man who got him the tickets had been let go. Ah, shucks, honey. Looks like we'll have to settle for tickets on the new Titanic instead. Like all these films, the sound editing here is fantastic. The intensity comes with them just emphasizing the sound of the wind and the building rattling. One of the thoughts at first was that the opening scene would be a riverboat disaster, but they didn't think that they could out-Titanic, or obviously the greatness of Deep Rising. The camera work also gives the audience a little height sickness as well, in a good way that makes you feel like you're part of the horror. Like, nope, this is a whole lot of nope. I'm gonna eat somewhere much safer, like a Waffle House at 2 a.m., thank you very much. All the stars have gotten into this place. Look, there's Bloodworth as a kid. Even Bloodworth's mom is wise. She instantly knows that Iris is pregnant. And what does the doctor recommend? Scaring herself shitless even more. How did they have trouble getting in, but the walking disaster bratty kid got in?
Don't throw that penny. It could kill somebody.
Oh, I'm so sorry, of course. Fat ass.
I'm gonna enjoy what happens soon. After the romantic proposal, of course.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
You mean with us?
Us? I'm not adopting that damn kid. This also does characters very well, big or small. When you're supposed to like them, you do. And when you're not supposed to like them, we're waiting for them to get their comeuppance. Figures that a 60s tower could be brought down with a penny. Throughout the franchise, there are a lot of parts that feel like I'm watching a whole movie of nothing but clips from Lloyd's 911 clips of the week. In fact, in the original 911 series, there was a collapsing floor and a dance scene. The cinematography, the editing, and mixing it in with them singing Shout is fantastic. As this was shot by Christian Sebald, he knows how to shoot very colorful scenes of the past. He was cinematographer on Reagan, harkening back to that movie's famous scene where Reagan shouts, "Tear down this tower." And this has been... No, not yet, Lloyd. It's horrifying, it's intense, the imagery is brutal, and there's still a warped sense of humor that doesn't screw up the tone, like them listening to raindrops keep falling on my head. And there's character backstory. That settles it. I'm gonna be a mortician. Best that Bloodworth survives and not this little shit. Guys, if the elevator was rickety on the way up, what do you think it's gonna do now? That was bound to happen regardless of this place falling apart. It's okay, people, just look at the way it's shaped. We just have to find the control room and we'll fly it to safety like a flying saucer. So long as you don't get hit by a piano. Well, I'm never picking up a penny for good luck again. At least this led to one of the biggest audience cheering moments since the babysitting opening from Halloween Ends. Yeah! See, they're gonna be okay. One of them will wake up and stop anyone from going in the tower. Oh, well, shit, that was a surprise. It's just one of Stephanie's nightmares from staying up all night and binge-watching Mad Men. These are recurring nightmares she's having, which seems to link to her family.
So the woman in my dream, her name is Iris, right? That was my grandmother's name.
Steph, that doesn't mean it's your grandma. Half the women in the 60s were named Iris. She's sure to get some answers. Just drive anywhere where there's subtle references to the others, like a near car accident. This starts out with a solid mystery. She's desperate to find out where her grandma is, but her dad is tight-lipped about it, while her brother Charlie just likes giving some tood now and then.
I dreamed a hot dog ate me last night. Like the hot dog was eating me.
You better take this more seriously, or I'm gonna drop a piano on you. I do love the family in this. They have instant chemistry with each other. Helped a lot by the fact that the directors let them do a lot of ad-libbing, which feels natural and doesn't stop the movie dead. They need that time for more foreshadowing. It is a nice family, where something off seemed to have happened with Grandma Iris.
She wouldn't let us go to school. She locked us inside the house. She obsessed about all the horrific ways.
Wait, my grandma is Laurie Strode? At least one person is gonna give her info about Grandma.
Whatever you do, do not look in the bottom drawer of the dining room cabinet.
Ew, gross. What am I supposed to do with my cousin's nudie magazines? Now we can take a break. She'll be driving for a while so Lloyd can do his thing.
And now it's time for Lloyd's Out of Context 911 Nashville Clip of the Week.
And it's supposed to sink?
Might not have weighted it enough.
The current's pulling it in. You blew up my damn boat!
Oh my God!
Hey, you caught something, I guess.
We're back, and she found Iris ready to fight off any Persian army that approaches. I love that even though Grandma has never been in the series before, it's like a lot of years later sequels that have their own version of old Laurie from Halloween 2018, but this does it a lot better than Netflix Chainsaw Massacre did. I still have some questions. She's been keeping herself under heavy protection from death, like using a lot of chimes to hear death's wind approaching, but if anything, it looks like these objects would make it way easier for death to kill you. Has it really been this hard for death to kill her? She has to sleep at some point. Even Alex didn't last too long before death eventually dropped a brick on his head. So she really did have a premonition back in the 60s where she does the right thing and just tosses the kid off the tower. Not really, but she should have. Guess it's for the best that she gets everyone off the dance floor and saves them.
They closed the restaurant after that. Said it needed additional renovations.
That's right, they added an Auntie Anne's. Even though death has targeted all the people who survived the tower and their families, she's gotten very good at surviving.
I see you, you fuck.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, just mice. Death sent two of his best assassins. But like in the other movies, Death will strike when someone is given important information. All she has to do now is just step outside and let Death help her out in convincing Stephanie.
Seeing is believing.
All these years and no one told Death that just a simple heart attack would be less messy. That way they could have had an open casket. It's bringing all the family members together, like Stephanie's estranged mom, Darlene. She's gonna come in handy. She knows a thing or two about deadly contraptions. She was in Home Alone 3. It gets into her fear, too, that she might turn out crazy and paranoid like her mom and grandma, which is why she, too, should invest in a fortress in the woods and a lifetime supply of wind chimes. No time for that, even Death wants to join the party here. Look, there's even the same fictitious beer brand from the other movies. Death's been waiting decades for Iris to die so he can move on to the rest of the family, where we get to play the best game of the series, the game of what's it gonna be? Glass in the ice, spontaneous Jenga up the ass, Darlene making cookies that Bobby's allergic to. First of all, they should get way better at bartending. Who wouldn't be casual if you break glass near ice? The fake-outs are pretty good too.
Oh my god, there's a bug in there.
And it was one of the deadly bugs from the nest. Iris had been keeping up on the events from the others. She kept a whole book of the most famous death scenes from the series. If she's such an expert, then she should know right away that what we think will be the cause of death will just be trickery. No, the notes specifically say that we gotta look at the foreshadowing from earlier. So that means, well, it's gonna be a little bit of everything, but especially...
It's okay. It's alright.
Another closed casket funeral. Look at the bright side, guys. We didn't have to go buy new funeral clothes. Now her notes are starting to make sense, looking like if a conspiracy theorist made 23andMe. Sweetie, we'd take your theories of the premonition and the order of deaths more seriously if this were a proper PowerPoint presentation and not taped up pieces of paper like you're trying to find D.B. Cooper and Bigfoot. The theory is that there were so many survivors from the tower that that's why it took Death so long to make his way through the families and eventually to Iris, thus putting an end to the theory that creating life will spare your life. Whatever, we'll take our chances drinking glass.
Julie, look, I love you, but sometimes I really hate you.
I'll believe you if I'm ever killed in a garbage truck. Don't worry, dear. One day we'll find out the truth of the Tommy Westfall universe. As long as we ignore our problems, they'll go away.
Don't let my mom's beliefs derail your life. The same way they did mine.
You'll also be the Judy Greer of the movie. However, now we're starting to focus on my favorite character in the movie, Eric, played by Richard Harmon, someone they probably knew would be a standout character, with one of the most memorable scenes in it, so this whole sequence was the teaser trailer. It's amazing he'd even be able to get out of this. This place has more traps than Grandma's cabin. However, Death has fabulous taste in music, so he's waiting for him to pick a proper song from his playlist.
No, I can't forget this eve.
I insist on only listening to Nilsson when I get a piercing or a tattoo. Death is nice enough to let him finish his tattoo. It'd be embarrassing if they found his body and it just simply said, duh. But on second thought... maybe I don't want a piercing. There were two kinds of people taking notes in the screening for this. One was movie critics, the other was Jigsaw. Steady does it. You know, this never would have happened at Eclair's. We're 6 movies deep, and if characters just simply stopped going into rooms with any kind of liquid, they'd be fine. Luckily, the filmmakers know how likable Eric is, so...
Steph!
What? Yeah, damn right. He lives only to die horrifically another day. Don't worry about me, that tattoo parlor catches fire every night. At least I got this sweet new ink.
Oh, yeah, check it out. I got branded.
And my legs have 3rd-degree burns. That's gonna make me score even more. And provide references to the others.
Because that would be fucking crazy.
I like that it plays not only with scenes from the others, but also ones that turned into cliches in other movies, like characters backing into the street and getting hit. No, here we're going back to the classics, like Child's Play 3, which means we'll be getting garbage truck disasters. You still think it may be Eric who dies, but Death is still loving his antics, so instead...
So take a hint and leave us alone, because Death's not coming for our family.
We didn't care that much for her anyway. Julie only had a few bitchy lines. That's what made her the current top contender on Death's list. Sweetie, it's okay. She was our least favorite cousin. We don't even have to get out our funeral suits. She's already in the trash. We'll just leave her there. Now they start believing Stephanie because we're bringing melodrama into this. They thought Eric would be next, but it turns out Eric isn't even related to them because Mom had an affair.
Who's my real dad?
Jerry Fenbury.
Oh, Jared Fenbury? God, what is this? Why you always wanted to play catch?
Adding dramatic family revelations just makes Eric more hilarious. Yeah, we'll deal with that later, so I'm not gonna get flattened by a steamroller, right? And we're a little late to be skeptical.
I'm begging you not to traumatize our kids anymore.
Oh yeah, they're not already properly traumatized. And we're at the point in the movie where Bloodworth usually shows up to give them advice. In this case, Bloodworth is the man they knew as JB.
Something River Hospital. Peace River Hospital. Clear...
Hope.
Gotta squeeze in a Clear Rivers reference too. Plus, Final Destination 4 showed that Clear is a water brand, not a hospital. They think poor Bobby is next, so at first they want him to stay behind, but on second thought, maybe it's best he goes with them to the hospital, and... it'll be a goofy road trip comedy now. They've already brought the family drama with them.
I always keep them where I can see them.
I mean, you could have just had the real thing, but it's okay. Not everyone wants to be a mom.
Do you want me to help you not get crushed by train logs or not? Another memorable thing about the movie is the final appearance from the great Tony Todd, returning for one last scene as Bloodworth, a much more kinder Bloodworth than we've previously seen, and we get the answers we've been waiting for about his character, where he's such an expert on the lore because he too survived Death's Wrath, when Iris saved him at the Skyview. I spent this whole series thinking, well, he's gotta be Death. He always seemed almost giddy and sadistic about what the previous characters were going through. Perhaps he's nice here because these characters are more likable. It also keeps in what we've learned before, like defeating death by dying then being resurrected, or taking someone's life like in Final Destination 5. He even answers one looming question, which was whether Kimberly Corman from 2 is still alive, and according to him, she is, so that bumps the Final Destination 2 special features out of continuity. And it serves as an extremely heartfelt final message from Tony Todd to fans. They gave him creative control over the scene, where they write it in that he really is sick, and it's a genuine and bittersweet goodbye.
Life is precious. Enjoy every single second.
Jeez, didn't think I'd be crying my eyes out in a Final Destination movie. Or, well, not since Evan died. Let's take a break while they decide who they're gonna kill so they can save themselves. My latest book, Skinamax, is now available for pre-order on Amazon, with the release date being December 5th on ebook, paperback, and hardcover. You can pre-order your copy of the ebook edition by clicking the link in the comments and in the description. We're back, and they've got a rock-solid plan straight out of a 90s buddy movie. Beavis and Butthead would very much approve of their plan. They want to kill Bobby for a few minutes and bring him back after...
No. Well, I mean... No, of course not.
After briefly considering bumping off a baby. We can't do it, bro. We'd be killed right away in prison. They've got the right idea, taking advantage of his peanut allergy, and they're gonna do it right. Generic brand peanut butter cups, the kind that would kill him quicker than the machine itself. Guessing that'll come into play. Same with characters in the series who were foolish enough to go into a room with possessed-looking machinery. These aren't rigged to shoot bullets out of them, are they? I really love watching these antics. This is the longest movie of the series. It clocks in at 1:50, but uses its time wisely. I never feel the length of it, and it is time that they dedicate to making the characters funny and real, so we are bummed out when a lot of them die, as opposed to the recent I Know What You Did Last Summer that was the same length, but unnecessarily so they could have callbacks that play into nothing. Whereas this one has callbacks that are either quick or important information. One bit of info they didn't pay attention to, though. is that if machinery like this starts acting up in a Final Destination movie, get the hell out of that room. Who designed this? Wile E. Coyote? This is gonna get hilarious, just like when every metal object flew into the coyote's lair. Kidding, it's actually a bit sad. I didn't want to see Eric go. Bobby's gotta go too, because we didn't set up that shot of the spring for nothing. No, springs in the head is the main side effect of his peanut allergy. There's only one thing left to do, cabin plot. No one wanted to claim Grandma's cabin when she died, so it's still there. And Christ, she didn't stick us with the electric bill, did she? Now it's like watching action I'd see in a zombie film. The cinematographer also did shoot Resident Evil Apocalypse. Again, I'm surprised that death didn't do this to Iris years earlier. Like the others, there were some reshoots that went on in the last act. In fact, Darlene was supposed to have died earlier. There's even a shot of it in the trailer where she was supposed to die in the hospital revolving door, but instead...
I'm gonna stay alive as long as...
Grandma was never very good at adding poles to her land. So the only option they have left is to go the Final Destination 2 route and have her drown, then get brought back. Though if there's an epilogue scene, that means something else terrible will happen. This is a damn good film, easily the best of the sequels, and it's the funniest too. The first one may have been a bit scarier, but this one really excels at giving us characters we really care about. They feel like a real family and not just types, so their deaths mean something as opposed to just getting a laugh because of the crazy death scenes. The writers still know the lore, meaning she probably would have been fine if that unlucky Penny wasn't around, and if she didn't receive information that she technically didn't die since her heart didn't stop.
He, brought me back from the dead. What?
Well, technically you weren't dead.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess they won't be in the next one. I like the originality, too, that this wasn't just a callback, but also foreshadowing. And yes, given the great box office and word of mouth for this, they've already greenlit another film. I'll consider going to see that. After watching 6 of these films, I'm never setting foot outside this room again, where the only danger for me here is poisoning from old cereal that I drink out of a bowl of liquid death.
Good luck.